Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry, school has started for me, so I've been adjusting to my new schedule, finding out when I have good times to make videos, when I don't. Monday looks like it's going to be a terrible day as I end about 5 o'clock, so yeah. Today I'd like to discuss something that's become a lot more present in games, especially over the past few years, and that is free-to-play. The You have no trouble finding them. Now, before I get really deep into this, I want to eliminate browser-based games. So any sort of, armored games or addicting games or stuff like RuneScape, depending on how you pronounce it. That sort of stuff I don't want to talk about because it's its own sort of little echelon of sort of a remnant of my childhood in a way, sort of sense, but that's not important to why this is pertinent now. And why this is important now is because free-to-play games are huge. Be it a mod, that's because you have Steam, you have Source, and therefore you can play something like Resistance and Liberation, or we're talking about the biggest population esport in the world of League of Legends, or we're talking about something like Warface, which is a free-to-play shooter, to Combat Arms, which is a crap free-to-play shooter, or you talk about a free-to-play MMO like MapleStory, and then you have all these other little free-to-play games. You talk about shareware and all that stuff, but shareware is a bit older. I'm talking about just games that really subside off of a cash shop. That's sort of free-to-play. And before I discuss the store aspect of free-to-play, I want to talk about what we stand to gain in this reciprocal relationship of developer to player. First of all, a developer wants you to play their game. Plain and simple. I don't think any developer has ever sat there and gone, I don't want those people to play my game. I just want to sit on the internet and never get played. No. At least I hope it's never happened. If it's ever happened, shame on you. You're a bad person at games. But what do you owe them in terms of free to play? Why should you even start? Typically, it's like a lot of games you've heard about from a friend, or you've seen, especially common nowadays, a video on YouTube that goes, okay, well, I guess I'll play that. And for the most part, that happens with a lot of games. I started playing Hawken because I saw a YouTube video, and I also miss mech games, so that's a thing. Same thing with Tribes. I watched a lot of YouTube content about Tribes, and I found that seems like I could get into that sort of action. Now, it doesn't run on my machine, but at least I want to start playing it. I guess that's ultimately what the developer wants, is for you to want to start playing it. But on the other hand, what do they owe you? Considering you're playing what could be years of their life work for free, they don't owe you much in the end, to be honest. I mean, you owe them feedback, I suppose, if their game crashes every time you play it. Or where do you stand to, as a developer, find that niche? Because if a developer can find a niche, then they owe you, at least in my opinion, something that satisfies that little sliver of game. If you try to make a game that apes Call of Duty, make something that does mimic it to the point where it's recognizable, but it isn't, copycat. And if a developer is literally just going, okay, this is popular, let's just Control-C, Control-V every single frickin' aspect and expect people to pay for stuff in our cash shop, that's never going to work in the end, to be honest. At least in my opinion. But, we've seen that happen before. Stupid people falling for it. But I've talked about the store, and the store, the cash shop, the money grubbing, the ability to buy power, and, game the system, and be better than other people just because you spent real money. And, we got to slow down and analyze those statements a little bit. When you say you're buying power, you have to realize that in a game, it's unbalanced when it's clearly better. And if you're buying a side grade, that doesn't matter. Or if you're buying a gun that's different, and because you spent more time with it, and you're better than other people, I can't really gripe about being bad if somebody spent money on me to get better than me at that gun. I would never complain about that. Now, if the gun is clearly imbalanced, that's when the griping starts. But typically buying weapons and all that stuff, that's usually reserved for more shooty style of games. And when you talk about the big behemoth of free-to-play League of Legends, that makes that money in skins and boosts. Now, I don't have much experience with buying boosts in games because I never feel like I need them. Mostly, entirely of the time, unless I'm playing an MMO like WoW, then I need a boost sometimes. But I stop playing, so I don't care anymore. But when you look at skins, this big archive of skins, you go to the store page and you just see hundreds of character skins, and you're like, what am I supposed to do? Sometimes it's daunting for people. Sometimes people feel like, I just might as well buy everything. Maybe that happens. I made a video about Astronauts a couple days ago, and about a week into playing, I bought a skin for a character I liked, and then I found out that skin really wasn't, to my liking, but hey, I'm supporting the developer of a game I like. That's the most important part, right? Hopefully, yeah. I mean, in the end, if it's a game you like, and you enjoy the developer, and they're constantly supporting it and fixing it in a way that makes it more enjoyable for you, go ahead. Buy a skin or a boost. They deserve it. And so, you play the game for a long time. You've bought 20 skins for this one character, or you've picked up this sick weapon that has, exactly the attachment that you want, and you can go 5-1 or 10-1 in most matches. But what is there to it? Seriously. In the end, isn't a free-to-play game just a treadmill where you just never stop? But in the end, isn't that ideally what all games should be? A game you can play over and over and over again and always enjoy? While I could argue against enjoying LOL sometimes, other aspects of it in terms of free-to-play games, you have to enjoy. If you don't stick with this free-to-play game, then why even start? If you're just going to download it, play for 5 minutes and go, it was free. That's totally cool. But if you download it and you play it for 5 hours, and you play it for 20 hours, you play it for 50 hours, and you just go, all right, I'm done. That's sort of counterintuitive. And maybe that's a problem with the game itself, not so much you. Or maybe that's just me. I played plenty of free-to-play games. MapleStory, RuneScape, Combat Arms. Most of it because I'm strapped for cash, but I spent a lot of time with free-to-play games. And I've never actually spent any money in a free-to-play game. So why should I have my opinion? What makes me so godforsaken important? It's always good to have your opinion out there, isn't it? I think free-to-play games definitely have a place in the video game industry. It's impossible to deny. As long as they get a backing and as long as their fans continue to support them, stay open, keep the servers up, play for as long as you like. Because in the end, that's where all the money's going, to your enjoyment. Thank you for watching today's video. I'm sorry I've been a little bit busy with school. I shall continue to produce more product, and if you enjoyed it, I hope to see you again soon enough. But thank you all for watching, and I shall see all of you later.